Hello everyone and welcome back to Ruby Tarot. Thank you so much for always supporting and following the channel. The moment you come across this video is the perfect time to receive the message meant for you. On this channel, I bring you insights about what is about to unfold in your life. When you open your heart and trust in the positive, you're also aligning with a parallel world where your wishes have already come true. Today, through this tarot reading, I hope to help you unlock future possibilities and support you on your journey to embrace love and turn your dreams into reality. The theme of today's reading is the blessings that have been promised to you. Now, please choose one of the 3 tarot piles. I've prepared 3 representative cards corresponding to pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Take a moment to listen to your intuition and pick the card that you feel most drawn to. Then, click the timestamp in the video description to go straight to your reading. Let's begin the reading with those of you who have made your choice. Hello to those who chose pile 1. Thank you for waiting. Now I'll begin your reading. I hope this session brings you healing, new realizations, and heartwarming moments. Today's theme is the blessings that have been promised to you. First, let's take a look at your current situation and energetic state. The very first message the cards want to convey is this: no one understands you better than you do. Looking at the imagery on the 2 cards drawn, there's a striking contrast between the cups. One is small and modest, the other resembles an entire bathtub, completely different in their capacity to hold. This clearly reflects a deep emotional truth, the pain of not being fully understood for who you really are. Just as this realization begins to unfold, a sound, like that of an ambulance siren, echoes as if to underscore the urgency you feel to escape the state you're currently in. You feel it vividly within. The desire to change, to break free from what's happening now. The phrase, "no one understands you better than you do," is not just a statement. It's a cry from the depths of your being. Perhaps you've grown weary of being judged or labeled by others, be it family, close ones, or people around you, who fail to grasp your true nature. They say things like, "I know you so well," or "you're this kind of person," and you no longer have the patience to tolerate those words. These emotions weigh heavily on your spirit, like a dark cloud looming over your heart. But now, you no longer feel like fighting back because you're simply too exhausted to resist. What you truly long for is to walk away, to change. You no longer want to be trapped in a cycle of being misunderstood. What you crave most right now is liberation, to be able to live as your true, authentic self. That's right. As I mentioned earlier, you've been enduring unfair judgments and shallow, almost absurd interpretations from those around you, people who, to be frank, lack imagination and empathy, both in what they say and how they act. And that's precisely what's been hurting you. Instead of continuing to let yourself be wounded, you've chosen to stop showing your true self. You've created a false version, a curated image, carefully edited and constructed, just to keep the peace with those around you. I can strongly sense the defensiveness within you. You've been protecting yourself with an exaggerated shell, a carefully performed persona to avoid getting hurt. The image that comes to mind is a fragile gift wrapped in layers upon layers of shock-absorbing foam, as if what lies inside is so delicate, so easily broken, that it must be shielded at all costs. It's deeply frustrating, isn't it? When people who know nothing about your core have the audacity to say, "you're this kind of person," and then carelessly impose their labels on you, as if it's the truth. I understand that feeling completely. And when I pulled more cards for clarity, what came through was that you are genuinely at your limit. From the outside, you may appear unchanged, still composed, still functioning. But what others can't see is that this sense of normalcy is built upon a relentless effort to suppress, to endure, to hold yourself together day after day. You're exhausted to the point of collapse. But then there's fear. Fear that if one day you take off the mask and dare to live as your true self, what awaits you might be criticism, rejection, or cold stares from others. So here you are, caught between 2 worlds. The pain of hiding who you are, and the fear of exposing it. That's why, no matter how hard you try to maintain harmony on the outside, the deeper truth remains. This feeling of being fundamentally misunderstood is making all your efforts feel pointless. It's as if you're here, present, but still being dismissed, ignored, treated as if you were invisible. No matter how hard you try, there's still a lingering feeling within you. I'm not truly seen. And this very feeling fuels your deep desire to break free from this situation as soon as possible. There is a powerful longing rising within you, the yearning to step into a different world, to live in a space where you can simply be yourself, without having to conceal the true essence of your heart any longer. If what you've heard so far resonates with your current state, then continue listening, because what comes next in this reading will reveal more about the blessings that have been promised to you. Now, I've drawn the cards. And quite unexpectedly, a number of major arcana cards have appeared. This is truly striking. The cards suggest that what you're about to experience is a profound destiny, a fated connection that was arranged long ago, possibly even before you were born. The card bearing the message rebirth has emerged, indicating that you are about to undergo an intense transformation, like a spiritual rebirth happening within the span of your current lifetime. This is no coincidence. It is part of your soul's plan, something that has been written into your path long before now. What is approaching may be the continuation of something you began in a past life, something you didn't get the chance to complete. And now, you are preparing to step into the next chapter of that very journey. A new phase is opening up, one where you can finally live in alignment with the truth of your soul. The truth is, most people won't immediately nod in recognition when they hear something like this. I believe perhaps only about 1%, a very small fraction, will instantly feel that deep resonance. But even if you can't explain it with logic, I trust you've felt it before. That strange sense of familiarity, when you think, I don't know why, but this doesn't feel new to me, or when you meet someone unfamiliar, yet feel as though you've known them from somewhere, or sense something deeply familiar in their presence. Even when you find yourself in a place you've never been before, you might feel an odd sense of comfort. I don't know why, but this place feels strangely soothing. Or when you start a brand new job, something completely unfamiliar, yet you learn quickly, perform smoothly, and even exceed expectations. All of these experiences, that sense of familiarity, of déjà vu, are clues pointing to the fact that you are stepping into a journey connected to a past life. As I mentioned earlier, this is like an inheritance, where you are continuing something that was left unfinished in a previous incarnation. And while it may sound abstract, these signs are the whispers of your soul, gently affirming that you are on the right path, that you are living in alignment with the soul blueprint crafted long before you were born. So why, then, are you going through such a difficult phase right now? Why does life feel so heavy, so suffocating? The cards say this is part of an inner transformation, a necessary stage of preparation as you approach a new chapter in your life. It's a deeply psychological process, one that teaches you to understand yourself, to peel away the outdated masks, and to rise again as your true, unfiltered self. These challenges are not meaningless. They are stepping stones, crucial for you to be ready to enter a destined rebirth. So please understand this. All those who denied you, who hurt you, or who deliberately misunderstood you, they are merely supporting characters in the grand script of your life. They did not appear in your life to destroy you, but to help you recognize your truest essence. It is precisely because of those so-called villains that you were able to reflect, to dig deeper, and to touch the very core of your soul. This is a necessary psychological process, and all the time you've lived through up until now has simply been preparation, leading you to this moment, right here and now. Nothing has been meaningless. From this point onward, the circumstances you enter, the people you meet, the things you choose to devote yourself to, all of it will gradually begin to form a true sense of harmony. A life that aligns perfectly, down to the very millimeter, with your soul. The appearance of the Lover's card here is symbolic. It's like the version of you from the past, perhaps even from a past life, is reaching out and holding the hand of who you are today. You might be continuing something that was left unfinished a very long time ago. I know the things I'm sharing lean deeply into the spiritual. They are profound and often difficult to grasp with logic alone. But as your life begins to shift, you will first feel it with your heart, long before your mind is able to explain it. Perhaps you've already received signs. For instance, maybe you've always been drawn to a particular subject since childhood, or you've excelled in something with remarkable ease, or you repeatedly dream the same dream, see a city that doesn't exist yet feels familiar, or hear a name or sound that makes your heart stir without knowing why. All of these strange fragments, they're guiding you back to yourself. Have you ever felt your heart suddenly resonate at the sound of a country's name? Or found that certain names, sounds, or places stir something within you that you simply cannot explain? These may be clues, gentle nudges from your soul, awakening memories from a distant, forgotten past. And then, the Hanged Man appears, a card deeply rooted in spirituality. It often emerges during moments when forces beyond human control are at play, as if the universe is moving in its own mysterious way, and all you can do is surrender and let yourself be carried by the flow. This card bears the number 12, a symbol of completeness and divine order. 12 hours on a clock, 12 zodiac signs, 12 months in a year. All are natural cycles that reflect a sacred structure beyond human planning or effort. And this is the third major arcana card to appear in a row, following Justice and the Lovers. Out of the 78 cards in the tarot deck, only 22 belong to the major arcana, cards that carry profound meaning and influence the entire reading in a powerful way. The fact that these 3 cards have appeared consecutively suggests that you are in the midst of a deeply significant and transformative spiritual journey. If you've ever felt like you lost your way, ever asked yourself, "Where did I go wrong?" the cards are gently whispering to you, "No, you've never been off track, not even by a millimeter." Even the efforts you once believed were meaningless, the times you felt forced to create a false version of yourself in order to survive, the moments you wondered, "Why can't I just be who I truly am?" all of it has been essential. Every fragment of that experience is an irreplaceable part of your soul's evolution. Every experience had its reason, and every step you've taken, even through confusion, hurt, or self-concealment, has been guiding you toward true awakening. As I mentioned before, it is thanks to the presence of the so-called antagonists in your life that you've been given the opportunity to look inward and truly understand yourself. The efforts you made to survive in a harsh environment, though they may have seemed like desperate measures at the time, were in fact sacred opportunities. Opportunities for you to learn how to embrace who you truly are, both spiritually and emotionally. You've been trained, whether consciously or not, to focus on every detail in the way you think, in the way you act. And through that, you've gradually elevated the inner quality of your being. It's as if you've undergone a series of life lessons, not just to survive, but to truly grow, to learn how to love and understand yourself from the very roots. And as the cards have revealed, you are now preparing to enter a new phase, one filled with relationships and situations that carry genuine soul connections. The past, with all its seemingly meaningless waiting, was in truth a period of preparation. The universe wants you to understand that time was like a blank canvas. You have painted it with your emotions, your efforts, your suffering, and your courage, stroke by stroke, shade by shade. And all of it has become wisdom, has become growth. It is the result of you. Not a single moment of your journey so far has been wasted. Everything has been aligned with the divine blueprint your soul chose before it came into this life. There hasn't been a single step out of place. And now, as I continue to draw, a card has leapt out of the deck, as if the energy itself is surging forward with great force. What the cards are telling you is this: the shift that's coming won't be gentle or gradual, it will be a turning point. A sudden change, a shift so swift it will take you by surprise. Your life is about to move into a brand new chapter, and it will arrive faster than you expect. The pace of this transformation is anything but slow. It's accelerating, as if everything is abruptly pivoting in an entirely new direction. The burdens you've been carrying, the questions, the stagnation, the inner blocks, will begin to unravel in a very clear and undeniable way. Something will occur, an active catalyst, that will propel you forward. And from there, you'll find yourself entering an environment, a relationship, or a space that holds deep karmic resonance with your soul. You'll feel it in your energy, as if something dormant within you is awakening, slowly activating, and rising from the core of your being. This card also reveals that the transformation ahead is not only spiritual, but also deeply grounded in the material world. The difficulties and trials you are currently facing will be resolved, fully and tangibly. And when that happens, true healing, deep, whole, and lasting, will arrive for you. From that moment forward, your worth will begin to be recognized by others, not just through words, but through real actions and well-deserved rewards. You are stepping into a phase where you will generate powerful results. These results are not random strokes of luck. They are the outcomes of a soul-level design, already encoded into your path. The entire reading today has carried a deeply spiritual tone, but the message is clear. Your world is shifting from disconnection into divine alignment. You may not fully sense it just yet, but when the time comes, your intuition will recognize it before your mind does. Remember what I've said. If you encounter something that feels inexplicably familiar, if you suddenly excel at something that once seemed impossible, then that is the sign. You're stepping directly into the next phase of your soul's blueprint. Trust your intuition. And now, to bring this reading to a close, I will draw one final message, one that is meant just for you right now. A beautiful sensation is spreading through, truly magnificent. And this is not the end. There is still something extraordinary waiting for you ahead. Now, I'm drawing one final card, a message meant especially for your present moment. Oh, how wonderful. The card that appears carries a crystal clear message. Don't give up. It tells you that you are so close to reaching the turning point. Everything has already been activated, the spark has been lit, and a powerful transformation is just about to unfold. At this moment, what the cards want to emphasize is not the safe path, but the one led by your intuition. You might be asking yourself, what is my passion? What used to set my soul on fire? And perhaps you feel like you've lost touch with that feeling. But the cards say this: you will naturally encounter something that reignites your heart. No force, no effort. Your heart will simply recognize it. And when I draw another card, its message only makes this clearer. Act with passion. Clearly, this is a sacred repetition. The universe is speaking to you again, with firm conviction. Trust your intuition. Move forward with the fire in your heart. And by living in truth, with the feelings and desires that stir your soul, you will fulfill the mission your soul has carried from a past life, a symphony that has never yet been completed. Of course, the world you're about to step into will look different for everyone because your environment, relationships, and circumstances are entirely unique. But regardless of the form it takes, the essence remains the same. You are being guided back to yourself, completely and without reservation. Now, I'll draw one final card, a last message from the universe, meant just for you. And the card is surprise. When this card appears at the end of a reading like this, it often carries a very clear message. Stop here. The universe is sending a signal, not to reveal too much, not to over-explain, and not to let assumptions or expectations cloud your authentic experience. This card is like a gentle reminder for me to say no more, because what's coming needs to remain a beautiful surprise, one only you can discover through your own heart and your own journey. So I'll say nothing further. When you feel something that stirs your heart, when emotion rises within you for no apparent reason, be brave enough to follow it. That moment, that feeling, is the unexpected gift life has prepared for you. Keep it as a sacred secret, a treasure meant to be opened only by you, at the perfect time. This brings the reading for Pile 1 to a close. If today's message touched you, even just a little, I would be grateful if you could leave a sign, a like, a comment, or even a small symbol, just to let me know your heart received it. Your quiet, loving presence is a precious source of encouragement for me to continue sharing these messages from the universe. Thank you for listening. I'll see you again in the next reading.
Hello to those who chose Pile 2.
Thank you for waiting. Now I'll begin your reading. I hope this session brings you healing, new insights, and moments filled with warmth and love. The theme today is the blessings that have been promised to you. First, let's take a look at your current situation and energy. The very first message the cards bring is a feeling of lack, incompleteness, a vague emptiness lingering within you. And then, I sense something repeating itself, as though you're stuck in a cycle with no way out. This isn't just simple stagnation, it's a stretch of time filled with anxiety and unease, where you constantly feel like the future is fragile, uncertain. Painful and exhausting phases seem to repeat themselves over and over again, trapping you in a loop you can't escape. It feels like you're in a place where you deeply want to change, to move forward, but somehow you can't. Every morning you wake up and realize you're still the same version of yourself from yesterday, and that realization weighs heavily on you. Others might say that at least your life hasn't gotten worse, but to you, when yesterday was already so dark, the fact that today feels just the same is hardly something to celebrate. To put it a bit dramatically, the feeling you're experiencing is like hitting rock bottom, a downward plunge in the graph of life. You long to climb back up from that abyss, but perhaps you haven't found the right ladder yet, or maybe you're lacking the necessary conditions like financial resources, tools, or opportunities. Still, you haven't given up. You refuse to surrender. You're still carrying within you the desire to change, a yearning to break free. Even if you're stuck, even if you're weary, you're holding on to that willpower within your heart. And the cards are clearly picking up on that strength inside you. I can feel that you've already tried so many things. Yes, the cards are expressing that very clearly. You've tried, you've persevered, you've been patient, but somehow, all your efforts seem to have been rejected, pushed aside, or left unanswered. From that, a deep sense of loneliness has begun to grow within you, a kind of invisible separation that makes you feel isolated in the midst of this world. Let me draw another card for clarity. A reversed card has appeared, and it sheds even more light on the message. You feel as though the entire outer world, society, community, the groups around you, each has a place to belong, a mold to fit into. But you do not. You feel you don't belong in that framework. You don't match the so-called collective standard. And that makes you feel excluded, rejected. You've tried, quietly, patiently, persistently, but the results never seem to come. Little by little, you've started to wonder, am I doing something wrong? Am I not good enough? Am I the problem? And from there, you've slowly begun to fall into self-doubt. You're in a space where you don't know what else to try, how to try it, or how many more chances you even have left. Everything feels like a dead end. If what I've shared resonates with your current experience, then stay with me, because right after this, I will draw the card that reveals the blessings the universe has promised to you. First, let's return to what I mentioned earlier. You've been carrying within you the feeling of being an outsider, of not belonging anywhere, of not being understood, of not truly connecting with anyone. There's a quiet loneliness in your heart, so deep and subtle that even you may not know how to put it into words. And that is precisely the beginning of the miracle that is about to unfold. From these experiences, perhaps you've come to a painful conclusion. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I'm the reason I can't seem to fit in. But what the cards want to emphasize here is something entirely different. You are not wrong. You are not strange. You simply haven't yet found the space that vibrates at your frequency. You don't align with those standards, not because you fall short, but because the quality of those molds isn't refined enough to reflect your true essence. The cards are using a very symbolic image to describe this. It's as if you've been trying to squeeze yourself into a mold that was never meant for you, not because you're not enough, but because the mold itself is too limited to truly comprehend who you are. You are someone deeply humble. And perhaps because of that humility, you haven't truly acknowledged your own strengths, the unique gifts and qualities that are worthy of being seen and respected. Unconsciously, you may have chosen environments that were modest, comfortable, safe, but ultimately not aligned with the scale of energy and value that truly belong to you. You've kept your distance from spaces with high standards or powerful energy, even though that is where you're truly meant to be. At the root of this pattern, the cards suggest, lies something from your past. Perhaps in your childhood, you tried so hard. You poured your whole heart into something, achieved something meaningful, but were met with silence. You weren't seen. You weren't heard. You weren't praised the way you had hoped. Or perhaps during your school years, you had friendships where you constantly felt a sense of distance, a feeling that the connection wasn't genuine, that even when you were together, no one truly listened to you with their heart. All of those experiences left a dent in your belief in your own worth. And you've carried that dent with you, quietly, without speaking of it, throughout your journey into adulthood. Perhaps in the past, you often felt a wall between you and the people you genuinely cared about. An invisible gap, a nameless divide, one that left a lasting imprint on your heart. Over time, this gave rise to a habit within you, a protective reflex. No matter how hard I try, I will never be truly seen. No matter how much talent or depth of feeling I have, no one will truly understand me. And because of this belief, you unconsciously chose to live in environments where you didn't have to reveal yourself, places where you didn't need to give your all, didn't have to expose the fullness of your abilities, just so you wouldn't have to be hurt again. Because deep within you has always lived a great fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being understood, the fear of being dismissed, overlooked, abandoned again. You once told your heart, I never want to feel that way again. And so, you buried yourself. You buried the most radiant, most powerful, and most authentic part of who you are. What I want to emphasize, and what the cards are gently expressing, is not meant to blame you. Not at all. But perhaps, as you hear these words, you feel a subtle ache within, because they're touching a place you've been avoiding for a long time. The cards want to say this to you. You are not someone who should accept less than what you truly deserve. You are not someone who should remain in low-vibration environments, simply out of fear of being rejected. You are someone who holds a rare sensitivity, a rare talent, a rare depth. And now, let's return to the question, what is the promised blessing awaiting you? The answer is crystal clear and powerfully direct. You are about to enter a complete transformation. The cards rebirth and recovery, both from the major arcana, have appeared. These are cards of rising from the absolute depths, of stepping out from the ruins, from the pain, from all that is broken and fallen away, emerging anew in a form that is stronger, freer, and more aligned. The wounds you once carried, the disappointments, the rejections, the silent sorrows that only you seem to understand, will no longer be the end of your story. They are about to become your strength. A new chapter is waiting for you, one in which you will have the chance to turn what once felt like a curse into an extraordinary blessing. And that is the blessing that has been promised to you. Why are you being offered such a profound and personal gift? The card that appears here is the Eight of Pentacles, a card of perseverance, of quiet efforts unseen by others, of silently refining yourself through even the smallest of actions. While in your outer life, you may have chosen environments that felt just safe enough, spaces that didn't quite match your inner quality. Behind the scenes, you were someone who worked tirelessly. You never sought attention, but you were diligent. You never demanded recognition, but you never abandoned yourself. You have invested so much time, energy, and even money into developing yourself, into honing your skills, into growing, often without anyone witnessing, without anyone acknowledging it. Even if the external results haven't yet matched your expectations, even if at times you gave up on certain goals or let go of a dream, you never gave up on yourself. And that is the deeper reason why now you are about to be granted a worthy reward. You've been quietly restoring what was lost in the past. You've been dealt unfair hands, but you never allowed them to become excuses for retreat. You've learned to say no to temptation, no to shortcuts, no to what's easy, choosing instead the path that is truer, more demanding, but infinitely more valuable. And because of all this, the blessing coming your way isn't a fleeting success, it's a meaningful achievement, rich with your essence. You will attain something unmistakably yours. You will speak in your own voice, without borrowing, without imitation. You will use your own lived experiences to inspire others, to create meaningful value, through a way of life that is deeply personal and uniquely yours. The cards want to remind you of something essential. You are not wrong. You are not strange. You are not lacking. You are someone who carries a rare depth, a distinct aesthetic, a unique perspective, a rhythm that is entirely your own. And it is from this uniqueness that you will carve a path no one else can walk, a success that cannot be replicated, a future no one else can write for you. There is a singular color within your soul. Perhaps you were once drawn to subjects like art, literature, engineering, or music. Fields without a single correct answer, where feeling and intuition take precedence over rigid rules. You may have already shone brightly in such spaces. And it is within those realms that you will finally be seen. That is the place where you truly belong, the place where you can say goodbye to your current stagnation and rise again from your own ashes. Both death and rebirth have appeared, two powerful cards that clearly affirm you are about to part ways with a chapter that brought you pain and exhaustion and step into a new one, where resurrection takes place from the deepest part of your soul. And this isn't just an external transformation. It is a spiritual awakening. I sense that you are approaching a moment when your subconscious will burst open, as if everything you've suppressed for years is about to break past its limits. Right now, you may be feeling a flood of emotions rising within you: anger, sadness, loneliness, weariness, all of it swirling together into a wave of energy that refuses to be contained. And those very emotions, the ones you may have wanted to bury, are about to become the fuel that ignites your awakening. For example, in my own life, I rarely feel anger. But when it does arise, it often opens a door, allowing me to create, to connect, and to see new truths. I believe something similar is happening for you. It may come as a spark, an idea, a surge of drive, an inner calling, emerging from emotions you once labeled as negative. Amidst the anger, the sorrow, the sense of being overlooked, or even envy, you may discover a spark of light, a sudden jolt that pushes you beyond the comfort zone you've clung to for so long. So if right now you feel overwhelmed by heavy emotions, don't rush to deny them. Let those emotions become your catalyst. Don't try to extinguish the fire within you. Let it lead you forward. Because from that very fire, the miracle will begin. When the subconscious erupts and you start creating results, each person's starting point will be different. As I mentioned earlier, some people, like myself, find their spark through anger. Others are guided by love. Some rise from the depths of despair. That's why you don't need to feel guilty or burdened by any emotion currently surging within you. Use them. Transform them. That is the message the cards are sending to you. And now, something truly worth celebrating. The Ten of Pentacles has appeared. This is one of the most solid and fulfilling cards in the entire deck. It doesn't speak of fleeting success. It speaks of lasting success. A legacy. A foundation so strong, it can support and accompany you for a lifetime. That success could come in the form of a career, a loving home, or a creative path, one where you're both recognized and able to live fully in alignment with your passion. The card also speaks of establishment, meaning something significant in your life will soon be anchored with certainty. And because this is a Pentacles card, it carries a strong message of financial abundance, a steady, expansive flow of prosperity that goes far beyond where you are now. The financial abundance coming your way isn't the result of random luck, it's the outcome of real success. A career or calling that carries your unique signature. Alongside that, you'll gain the power of discernment and negotiation, the ability to clearly define the boundary between your true worth and the demands or expectations of others. You will know how to protect yourself. You will know how to value yourself appropriately. And so, two streams of blessings are flowing toward you at once. First, you will break free from the cycle of suffering and step into an achievement that is true to your essence, a success that is personal, profound, and deeply authentic. Second, you will enter a season of financial abundance as a rightful reward for all the silent endurance and quiet efforts you've carried through. A beautiful ending, a radiant new beginning, and most importantly, you deserve it all. Now, let's draw one more card. A truly beautiful new beginning awaits you. The Ace of Cups has appeared. This card carries the energy of emotional fulfillment, of love, of a rebirth born from pure, unfiltered feeling. It signals that along with this new beginning, you will start to feel love rising from within. It may be love for yourself. It may be the sweetness of connection with someone special. It may be the joy of finally living in alignment with your true self. And for those of you on an artistic or creative path, this card is a blessing. You will express your talent and inspiration effortlessly, and you will receive the recognition you so deeply deserve. I've emphasized it many times, and the cards have echoed it with unwavering clarity. You did not arrive at the success by chance. You paid the price with persistence, with slices of time, with sweat, and even with tears. And now, what you're about to receive is more than just an external achievement. It's a profound recognition. Recognition from others, yes. But more importantly, from yourself. You will begin to truly appreciate who you are. You will realize, I am worthy. You will feel a sense of fulfillment, deep and genuine, from within your heart. It will feel as if your heart has finally returned to the place it truly belongs. A calm, steady, and soul-deep peace. And now, I draw the final card, a message meant to encapsulate everything for you. The one who has walked through countless hardships, who never gave up on yourself, and who is about to step into a completely new chapter of life. As I draw this last card, I hear the voices of children outside, calling out bye-bye. It sounds like a farewell to the heavy days, the years of carrying burdens, and all the pain you once kept locked silently inside. And yes, it is exactly that. You are about to transform all that sorrow into fuel for awakening. You are about to turn everything you've endured into precious material for creating the most radiant version of yourself. I can feel this so clearly. You are someone who has the ability to fully absorb all of your experiences, even the painful ones, and alchemize them into a part of your unique identity. The Freedom card has appeared. A door is opening wide before you. But along with that door, I also sense a trace of hesitation, a quiet worry still lingering within you. Perhaps you're afraid, or more accurately, caught in the tug-of-war between fear and the desire for change. You want to step out, but you hold back. You want to begin, but doubt creeps in. There are moments when you feel ablaze with purpose, filled with momentum. And then, moments later, it all feels quiet again, dim, and empty. This emotional fluctuation is entirely natural because you're standing on the threshold between the old and the new, between light and shadow, between the familiar and the unknown. But the most important thing is this. You are still trying to move forward. The message from the cards is not just encouragement. It's a call to awaken. Don't search for answers in moments of confusion. Instead, take one more step. It might sound intense, but the cards are reminding you. Every life, no matter how perfect it may seem, will eventually wither. No matter how cautious you are, no matter how much you preserve, your body will still age, your gaze will still fade, your shoulders will still stoop, and in the end, everything returns to dust. So then why not live boldly? Why not choose to fight? Better to fight and fall than to collapse without ever having truly lived. Because only when you dare to walk forward with all the honesty in your heart will life truly become your own. It will no longer be a life lived to please others, but a journey in which you cherish every step you take. A life meant just for you. And once again, I feel this with absolute clarity. You are someone who has never stopped trying, never taken the easy way out. In fact, you may not even realize just how much effort you've truly put in. You might be the kind of person who, when faced with something unfamiliar, immediately starts researching. Perhaps you naturally learn from others. When you see someone doing something inspiring, your first thought is, I could learn that too. The way you absorb knowledge, the way you upgrade yourself, it's not loud or showy. But it's consistent, grounded, and resilient. You're someone who understands that changing yourself, integrating new knowledge or habits into your life, isn't about fleeting excitement at the start. It's about steady, daily commitment until it becomes part of who you are. And you've done exactly that, effortlessly and authentically. That's why the cards are telling you now. You are entirely worthy of walking your own path. You've spent time in the safety zone, a place where everything is stable, where nothing goes terribly wrong, where you don't get hurt. But you also understand this. What's often called stability can come with a tremendous risk. And that risk is the loss of your own truth. You once chose to remain in breathable environments, in circumstances that felt easier to live with. But over time, you began to feel as though you were living without truly being present. You felt like a stranger in your own life. You knew if you stayed in that comfort zone, you'd be trading away authenticity. Slowly, you would begin to feel like someone you no longer recognized. And so, the cards are asking you a very direct question. Do you really want to spend your entire life feeling like you're no longer yourself? Only you can answer that question. But your soul seems to have answered it already. Yes, perhaps in moments of quiet despair, you've said to yourself, that's enough. And then you confined yourself to a smaller world, one that seemed safe, but was silently filled with tension and unrest. The world you told yourself was okay, manageable, livable, may have actually been a place filled with forced smiles and unspoken discomfort. Let me give you an example, a little bold, perhaps, but imagine being in relationships or communities where someone's energy feels harsh, even malicious. When you step into those kinds of groups, where negativity spreads like an infection, it doesn't take long for everything to turn into a kind of cocoon of darkness. The cards are saying this. Choosing to live safely, to live just enough, sometimes means you're also choosing to accept misaligned relationships, false values, and you're trading that false safety for the purity of your own spirit. And more than that, when you are someone with a different frequency, when you carry your own light, you easily become a target in a world that doesn't recognize true worth. Like a glowing insect in the night, you're not trying to draw attention, yet you still attract the very things that seek to consume your light. You may have once been that person. Someone caught in spaces where conversations never truly connected, where everything felt superficial, performative, and overpowering. And the heartbreaking part is your light, the purest, most refined part of you, was never truly seen or appreciated in those places. The cards want you to remember this. You're not wrong. You are not strange. You are not weak. You are simply in the wrong place. Your true light, your essence, can only shine in a world that matches your quality, your frequency, your soul. And now, it is time for you to return to that place. A place where you are understood, where you are seen, where you are free to be exactly who you are. That old environment, the loop you've been repeating day after day, may have been stifling your potential, cutting off your natural flow. And if it continues, it may be the very thing keeping you from ever breaking free of your current state. The message from the cards is this. Trust the flickers of emotion within you. Trust the sudden sparks of insight, even if they only last for a second. They are the truth. Don't be so quick to silence them with doubt. Because that doubt, that dismissal, it doesn't come from you. It's the old echo of someone else's voice. It's a residue of beliefs you absorbed from the environment around you. The cards urge you now to stay clear and conscious. This isn't my true feeling. This thought isn't born from me. And then, reset your boundaries. Protect the sacred space of your soul, and choose to trust the evolution your heart is calling you into. Because you are the one who can step into a new life, freer, more fluid, and increasingly aligned with the highest version of yourself. And not only that, in a simple yet tangible way, your financial fortunes are also beginning to shift for the better. If your heart resonates with what's been shared here, if even a part of you feels seen, receive it openly. And if you feel a new strength stirring within, then I'm truly grateful to have walked this path with you through today's reading. May you soon reach that new chapter, the one where you are gloriously, unapologetically yourself. I'll see you again in the next reading. Hello to those who chose pile 3. Thank you for waiting. Now, I'll begin your reading. I hope this session brings you healing, new insights, and moments filled with warmth and love. The theme of today's reading is the blessings that have been promised to you. Right from the very first cards, I'm sensing a rather complex energy. You are clearly aiming toward a specific goal. Your heart already knows the destination you wish to reach. However, what confuses you is this. Even though you know what you need to do, things haven't been moving forward as smoothly as you'd hoped. Everything feels blocked, sluggish, or consistently obstructed. It's as if you're walking along a jagged, uneven road, twisting and unpredictable, making every step feel heavy and unstable. Perhaps you're carrying a form of unease that only you can truly understand. For example, you might constantly feel fatigued, yet medical checkups show no concrete issues, like your body isn't quite right, but no one can pinpoint what's wrong. Or maybe you're getting entangled in problems that didn't originate from you, but from others. You might be worrying for, taking care of, or trying to manage things on someone else's behalf. Or perhaps you're being confined by time, rules, external obligations, leaving you feeling stifled, suffocated. In short, it seems like nothing is unfolding the way you want it to. Instead, persistent obstacles and lingering worries keep surfacing. And each time, you're unable to move past it quickly. You feel stuck,
Drained.
breathless. It's a state that only someone who has truly lived it can understand. Like walking through a dense fog. You know where you want to go, but can't move at the pace you need. And this is slowly draining your mental energy. Still, one thing remains clear. You know exactly what you need to do, and you've never lost sight of your goal. The exhaustion comes not from confusion, but from the feeling that you want to charge ahead with strength. Yet reality keeps pulling you sideways. You know the path you need to take, but you're constantly pushed off course, blocked, or forced to take a longer, winding route. It feels like the rhythm within you, the pace at which you want to live, doesn't match the speed of the world around you. And that leaves you feeling suffocated, burdened, like you're constantly bracing yourself to keep everything from falling apart. You're carrying a weight, trying to live, while also holding on to something precious to you, but you're never given the time to pause. To stop would mean to lose something. To stop would feel like surrendering the very thing you've been protecting. So you don't allow yourself to rest. You've given yourself only one option: to keep going. Even if you're exhausted, even if your steps are slow, even if your heart feels depleted. And the thing you're holding so tightly, it might be your job, your children, your studies, your family, or a responsibility you feel you cannot abandon. Something into which you've poured your entire life force. You've been giving and giving without pause. And still, the obstacles keep coming. As if the universe keeps pushing away everything you've tried so hard to build. You don't even have time to breathe. And you haven't had the chance to unleash your full potential. All of this has placed you under a constant state of tension. It's not that you want to run away. You're just utterly exhausted. And yet, somewhere inside, there's still a part of you that wants to keep going, that refuses to give up. But it's also undeniable. You are in a state of constant tension, stretched like a tightly wound string. And the saddest part is, this feeling isn't new. It's been simmering beneath the surface, repeating over and over. And now you may be close to reaching your limit. As I mentioned earlier, you've been facing a series of unexpected obstacles, popping up one after another, like a never-ending game of whack-a-mole. And because of that, you haven't been able to fully activate the potential that lives inside you. There is something deeply important you're dealing with right now. And you're facing it with all the seriousness and perseverance you can muster. In fact, you've poured so much intention, perfectionism, and care into it, whether it's your work, a relationship, or a personal project. But no matter how hard you try, the results aren't matching your efforts. You're left feeling disheartened, like all your effort isn't being met with the recognition or outcome it deserves. The energy you give and the results you receive are completely out of sync. It's like you've been running at 100% capacity, and the world only acknowledges 20% of that. And it's all because you've been living in a constant state of pressure. Whether you want to admit it or not, your body and mind are tired. And that fatigue is stopping you from expressing your full strength. You want change, but every step forward feels slowed, pulled back, restricted by forces beyond your control. You're still moving, but not the way you want. Not at the rhythm you need. Not along the path that feels aligned. And what makes it even harder is that you can't loosen your grip.
You can't rest.
From the past until now, you've always held yourself at a certain level of effort. You've never allowed yourself to stop. You've lived like this for far too long. And now, you're truly exhausted. You are deeply in need of a pause. A space that allows you to finally exhale, to breathe in peace. There's a part of you longing for something that makes you feel I'm safe now. I don't have to keep bracing myself. Because right now, you're caught in a state where the more you try to fix things, the more tangled they become. If it's a relationship, perhaps you've tried talking, tried explaining, tried to untangle the knots. But the more you speak, the more you share, the tighter everything seems to twist. It feels like the more you touch it, the more off course it becomes. And all of it is happening because you're stretched too thin. Your mind, your body, everything is strung tight like a wire. You don't have to keep living like this. It's time you allow yourself to let go, even just a little. You've been confronting everything in a state of prolonged tension. It's as if every cell in your body is tensed, and because of that, you can't be yourself naturally. You can't breathe deeply. You can't soften. You can't return to the quiet, steady part of you. You've been trying to change something. You've been trying to reset your inner compass, or more tangibly, to take clear, decisive action in the outer world. You've been working hard to reorganize everything, to plan better, to optimize more, to eliminate waste. You want life to flow clearly and efficiently. But the more you try to do that, the more chaotic everything seems to become. It's as if the harder you try to control things, the further you veer from your center. You may feel like you're slamming up against some invisible wall, a kind of blockage you can't figure out how to get past. And maybe now, you've started to feel, I can't even imagine another version of myself anymore. You can't envision a different future anymore. You no longer have the strength to dream, to hope. There's no space left for bright, uplifting possibilities. And yet, you're still fighting. Quietly, but with resilience. Fighting for something you still long to achieve. For a goal you haven't let go of. But along the way, you've been living with the heavy feeling that your tomorrow has already been written. That what lies ahead is pre-programmed, and there's nothing you can do to change it. It's that dull, repetitive, weary rhythm that's making you feel breathless. You can't just leap over obstacles like they're simple hurdles. Each one comes with weight, with pressure. You are tired, deeply tired. Maybe you haven't said it out loud, but your energy is screaming it. And if any part of what's been said here rings true, if something within your heart stirs, then what comes next is meant for you. Now, we arrive at the heart of today's reading, the blessing that has been promised to you. And truly, it's beautiful. Powerful cards are appearing, one after another. And as I touch them, a message rings out clearly. You don't have to keep doing this anymore. Does that sentence awaken something inside you? Because now, the wish card has appeared. The card of long-held dreams. The card that says, what you've quietly wished for, perhaps without even daring to say it aloud, is about to be heard. And now, the World card appears, the final card of the major arcana. And together, the cards say this to you. Soon, you will receive a grace, a chance to let go, to release something you've carried for far too long. It might be a relationship that's kept you in a constant state of tension. It might be a responsibility that's left you utterly drained. It might be a relentless cycle that's suffocating your spirit. Whatever it may be, you won't have to keep holding it the way you have been. You will be allowed to let it go. Or, at the very least, you'll be granted the right to do so on your own terms, at your own rhythm, when you are ready, and in the measure that feels right to you. But to be honest, this message isn't just about relief. It marks a turning point, a decisive release, a complete ending that opens the doorway to a new cycle. The World is the final card of the major arcana in the tarot. It represents completion, fulfillment, and the arrival at the destination after a long and challenging journey. You weren't allowed to stop. You had to keep going, relentlessly, for something that deeply mattered to you. And now, the universe is unfolding a path that leads you to liberation. A beautiful ending is near. And it is your reward for walking this road, without giving up. Prepare yourself to release. And to receive. Because what you've been longing for is closer than you think. Can you feel it? This quiet release beginning to spread through your heart? That's why the message from the cards right now is this. You don't have to keep holding it all together anymore. This prolonged state of tension, the constant pressure to perform, the feeling of being stretched to your limit, the urgency, the harsh pace, the lack of space to simply breathe, all of it is coming to an end. For those of you who have been under the weight of time constraints, locked into rigid systems, constantly on high alert to avoid making mistakes, listen closely to this message. The way you've had to cope with those conditions is about to shift completely into something gentler, more breathable, no longer damaging to your well-being. You've held on, pushed forward, held your ground for a very valid reason. To reach a goal, to accomplish something you believed mattered deeply in your life. But the price you've paid along the way has been the erosion of your inner peace. The cards show that you've been through a phase dense with emotional intensity, where everything felt too much. Too many obligations. Too high expectations. Too many emotional demands. Too many thoughts trapped in a framework you couldn't escape. Your mind hasn't had a single moment of stillness to return to itself. You felt trapped in a spinning wheel, wanting to pause, to let go, but never being able to. For one reason or another, you couldn't release it. Even when you were tired, even when it was painful, even when you knew you'd had enough, you had to keep going. Maybe you've tried to walk away. Maybe you've tried to say no. But your heart just couldn't let go. You felt like you were imprisoned by something both deeply important and suffocating. And now, as we turn to the message of the blessing that has been promised to you, once again, the World card and the Wish card appear. And they say, you will no longer need to keep straining to hold it all together. A breakthrough is coming. Not a slow, gradual change, but a leap forward. As if something locked tight is about to burst open, swinging wide the door that once stood firmly shut before you. The World is the final card of the major arcana, symbolizing full circle completion, the closing of a great cycle in your life. What you've been reaching toward all this time is now right in front of you. And when you place your hand on that door, every burden behind you will begin to dissolve. No more mental tug-of-war. No more feeling like you must sacrifice yourself. No more waking up to mornings dulled by emotional numbness. The universe is clearing the path. Receive it with full trust and gratitude. You deserve to live a life no longer ruled by pressure, but guided by the quiet clarity, peace, and deep love that arises from within your own soul. So then, why is this miracle happening now? Why are you finally allowed to stop fighting so silently and relentlessly? The cards say this. Because you've paid the price. You've lived a life marked by quiet sacrifice. You've often chosen to give away parts of your own happiness so others could feel whole. You've placed other people's needs, emotions, and wishes ahead of your own. And the truth is, you never even thought of it as sacrifice. Because for you, seeing others happy brought you peace. You never sought recognition, never needed praise. You simply lived by a deeply human code, where the smile of someone beside you brought your heart more ease than indulging in comfort for yourself. And because you lived this way, the universe did not look away. Everything you've given, everything you've held back, everything you've silently endured, is now returning to you, transformed into exactly what you've longed for most. And it's not a random blessing. It's not a gift that just falls from the sky. It is your rightful reward, directly tied to everything you've done, everything you've given, and everything you've quietly accepted. Its return is precise, right person, right time, right way.
Clear.
Definitive. No more confusion, no more delay. The card says, you are enough. What you once believed you would never receive is exactly what you are about to hold in your hands. So do not be afraid that this goodness will disappear, because it hasn't come to test you again. It is the final answer to all the years you lived with a generous heart in silence. You're about to enter a state where your mind is no longer bound, your body no longer exhausted, and the future no longer something to fear.
Take a deep breath
and prepare to receive the gift that you yourself helped create. Until now, you've had to pour all your energy into dealing with what was right in front of you. Urgent matters, unavoidable situations, the practical demands of life. Because of that, you haven't had the strength to look ahead, nor the mental space to see the full picture. Perhaps you've experienced memory lapses, mental fog, or an inability to focus, as though your mind has been sinking into a haze. All of that was the result of prolonged stress that had no place to release. But now, the cards are telling you that time is ending. From here on, you'll begin to regain distance. You'll be able to see yourself from a clearer, more objective perspective, no longer caught in the whirlwind. You'll start to feel breathing space opening within you, a sacred inner room where you can observe, reflect, and make choices with clarity. And that is liberation from pressure. Cards carrying the energy of numbers 9 and 10 are appearing in succession. If 9 marks a sense of closure, then 10 signals the beginning of a new level, a fresh chapter. Alongside them is the World card, one of the most powerful in the entire tarot. symbolizing full completion and the opening of a new cycle. It shows that you are stepping into a higher reality, one where what once felt burdensome will be handled with more lightness, more ease, more flow. You once believed you'd have to carry this weight forever. That pressure was simply your fate, something you'd always have to live with. But no, the universe is opening a new path. A turning point where what you once thought would haunt you forever will be lifted unexpectedly and in the most positive way. The Nine of Swords once revealed sleepless nights, intense anxiety, the feeling of being crushed by your own thoughts. You feared the worst. You asked yourself, am I capable? Will I make it? Am I fooling myself by trying so hard? But now, the cards are showing. The answer is yes. And you won't have to do it in the dark anymore. The light is drawing near. And with that light, you'll finally be able to gently release what once suffocated you and begin living at a new pace, one that truly belongs to you. You've been fighting a battle within, against pressure, limitations, and feelings of being trapped. And yet you never stopped moving. You kept trying, working, adjusting, pushing forward, even if just inch by inch. But the cards now say, that battle is ending. What you once thought was reality was merely an illusion created by your own overwhelmed mind. An illusion that made it seem like there was no way out, that you'd have to endure it forever. But the truth is, being bound inside that illusion, you lost sight of hope. You couldn't see the door waiting to be opened. And now, with the appearance of a card that represents tangible reality and grounded action, the message comes through with crystal clarity. You will break free from this. You won't have to keep doing this anymore. You will be free. And this freedom is not fleeting, not a brief moment of relief followed by the same old cycle. It is a true liberation, one you can touch, measure in time, and feel in your body. It is a real reward, solid, lasting, and profoundly meaningful. You may begin to feel this shift taking shape in many different ways. For some, it might come as more time for yourself, no longer being swept up in overpacked schedules or endless obligations. For others, it may show up as physical recovery, finally being able to breathe steadily, sleep deeply, and live again according to your own natural rhythm. For some, it could manifest as a significant financial breakthrough, where the silent effort and dedication you've long poured into your work finally begin to bear fruit. For others still, it may come as a change in your physical space, leaving behind a place that once felt heavy and finding a home that truly feels like your own. The universe is saying to you, you've given so much. You've sacrificed, been patient, endured in ways no one else may have seen. And now, what you once gave to others will return to you. Not the leftovers, but the very best part. This is your time to live in alignment with your true nature, and to receive what is worthy of the soul you carry. Some of you may be entering a period of deep transformation in your relationships. Of course, this will depend on your individual circumstances. But the message is clear. You no longer have to hold on to what has drained you. You no longer need to cling to anything that has left you exhausted. Especially for those of you who haven't had the time to care for yourselves, who have been pulled so deeply into pressure and responsibility that you forgot your own well-being. From this moment forward, you will begin to reclaim the space to care for yourself again, to heal, to gently soothe the weariness that's been sitting silently in your heart. And now, here is your message, gathered from everything the cards have revealed to you in this reading. Allow yourself to rest.
Truly rest.
Not the kind of rest where you lie down only to immediately start planning tomorrow. Not the kind of rest where your mind keeps spinning through endless to-do lists. Some of you may be thinking, but I just had a break. Yet the universe is gently asking you, was that break truly enough? Are you lying in bed at night while your mind still glows like a lamp you can't turn off? Are you caught in a constant flicker of thoughts, always on standby, always ready to jump into action? Do you feel like you're holding that mental switch in the on position because if you let go, everything might collapse? This message isn't just about rest. It's about recovery, regeneration, returning to your original balance. The universe is whispering to you now. You've forgotten what true ease feels like. And you don't have to keep living in this non-stop cycle anymore. Let go.
Breathe.
Believe that you deserve a softer life. Even if you've grown used to carrying responsibility, to rushing through your days and calling it normal. This is the moment when you are allowed to choose a different path. A path where you have a place. And the final message the universe wants to send you is this. You don't have to keep going like this. Every effort you've made, every sacrifice you've given, every emotion you've swallowed, Every moment you've held yourself together in silence. It has all been seen. And because of that, the blessing you deserve has already been promised. It's not something that might happen. It's something that will. The universe has already set it in motion to find its way to you, because you are ready. So now, in this very moment, even if your mind is still racing with 1,000 thoughts, pause for just a second, inhale deeply, truly, breathe in slowly, fully, and exhale gently through your teeth, as if you're releasing the weightless burdens still lodged in your chest. Then, allow your body to naturally draw in this new air, this new energy. If you'd like, let's do this together, just once. Now, take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Don't rush. When your breath begins to empty, simply inhale again. Let your brain and your heart be filled with oxygen. Let this new life force move through you, seeping into every cell, every strand of hair, every drop of blood. It's as if the universe is saying, nourish yourself again. Let every part of your being breathe. Maybe you've forgotten what relief feels like. Maybe you've lived for too long in a state of high tension, stretched tight like a string. But here, right now, in this very moment, you are allowed to let go. You are allowed to believe that things are shifting for the better. You are allowed to feel safe in knowing you don't have to keep pushing anymore. And if this message has touched something inside your heart, if you feel even a little bit lighter after this reading, then please hold that feeling close. This is your moment to say to yourself, thank goodness, I don't have to carry it all anymore. Wishing you a journey of deep renewal, filled with tenderness and love. Thank you for walking with me through today's reading. I'll see you again in the next one.